I want to talk to you about the series coming up January 9th, starting January 9th. And we'll go for 8 weeks on the Lord's Prayer. And what's always helped me praying is if I can grab onto some of the prayers in the Bible and pray them, then at least I know I'm praying according to God's will. And I got some tracks to run on. So the idea is this is a lens for which we can look at Red Deer in central Alberta. Imagine if God's kingdom came on a Sunday morning. Like, it'd be explosive. What would happen in our city? From the downtown right up to the mayor's office. I mean, if God's will was being done here, I mean, who are the people in Red Deer that make decisions that change the landscape, that if we prayed with intensity about them and they came to Jesus, what would the city look like? I think those are the kind of things that the Lord's Prayer motivates me to begin to pray for too. It's literally the prayer that spans the world. If we prayed that prayer and God literally answered that in our families and in our homes, they would be totally different. The interesting thing a lot of people don't realize is that the Jews prayed all the time. This wasn't a new thing. So when they said, teach us to pray, what were they thinking? Because they already prayed. And the Jews had lots of prayers. I think what they were thinking is when they watched Jesus pray, there was something different. And I put it down to, there seemed to be a connection that he had with the Father that was different than the way they prayed. And they wanted to know how to pray in order to be heard. And just like Jesus, to have that, I would call it an intimate connection with the Father. So they were drawn by watching him pray. And to them, when they watched Jesus, it wasn't rote, it wasn't liturgical, it was real, it was authentic, and there was connections being made, and they thought that's the way we want to pray. So I think sometimes we pray these things and they're just words, but it's actually a dynamite prayer that if we actually prayed it with that kind of heart, I think God would change the whole world. Part of this thing, this Lord's Prayer, I want it not just to be about me. And that's why the word our is so important in there, is that we're praying with the rest of the church for the rest of the world, and we're actually joining the church in heaven when we're praying this, because they pray it too. So what better way to pray than with every other Christian on the planet? Like, some of the needs of the world are so overwhelming, I tap out. But I come back to the Lord's Prayer now and I think, give us our daily bread. I can pray that for them. When you pray, hallowed be your name, I'll tell you what one of my problems is. I'm always going after false gods. And hallowed be your name means more than holy. It means I want that to be the number. I want to be passionate in love with Jesus. I want a pure heart. A pure heart is where it's not just a clean heart, it's where the bottom line desire of your heart is to love the Lord your God with all your heart, soul, mind, strength. That's what I want. And it bugs me that I keep running after shiny things, And so I keep coming back to the Lord's Prayer. Lord, don't let that happen again. I want your name to be the name. I want you to be the satisfier of my desires. It's all of that kind of stuff. And you know what? I might have fallen down to lust or immorality, or I might have terrible anger issues. But you know what? I'm welcome. The door is open. The door is open. And I can come and I can receive what I need. And so I guess that's my heart, is that I want people to want to come to the Father. And I want them to know that in Jesus they're accepted. We don't have to come in our own name. But if we come in his name, there is no reason not to come. And I'd like to help people understand that you don't have to just pray it like we prayed it. You can pray it straight through, and we will do that. But when I pray it, I'm often just praying, Father, I just need to be fathered today. I'm really screwed up, and I used to be afraid of you, but I'm coming today because I actually believe you're for me. I think I want to help people be real with where they're at with it, and I want to make sure that we don't just end up with vain repetitions, because I really do believe it's a prayer that changes the world.